Hello and welcome back to the Budget Knitter podcast channel. My name is WSpargurKnits. I am your host. I am coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, where I live with my 2 dogs and my husband. And today is episode 22. And I can't screw this one up because it's the same number on both sides. I realized last episode I think I had it backwards. Anyway, 22. Wow, that is... When I started this, I didn't think I'd make it to 22. And I also kind of realized that I'm maybe 1 to 2 months away from my 1 year of podcasting. That is amazing. Actually, if this is episode 22, every 2 weeks, 26 weeks would be a full year. I think I'm a month away from 1 year of podcasting. That is amazing for me. Like, I never even thought, to be honest, I only thought like 50 people would watch this, so thank you. This is a big deal for me. For the 1 year, I'm gonna think of something big. I know I don't have a whole lot of time to do it in, but I am gonna think of something big for us for my 1 year of podcasting. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for clicking on and staying tuned, at least thus far. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe because I put out new videos at least every 2 weeks. Sometimes I throw some other stuff in there, which you can all find on my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for sticking with me. I really appreciate your support. It means the world to me. For those of you who are new, you can find me on Instagram as WillMSU. You can find me on Twitter as WSpargurKnits. You can find me on Ravelry as WSpargurKnits. There's a Facebook page for this group, which is facebook.com/thebudgetknitter. There's a Ravelry thread group for this podcast, which is the Budget Knitter Podcast. And just a reminder, I do now have an Etsy shop. It is thebudgetknitter.etsy.com. I sell hand-dyed yarn, I sell different finished objects that I don't intend to keep or things that I just knit to try out a pattern, but I didn't really have anybody to give it to, so those things are available on there as well. Right now, the only hand-dyed yarn I have available is my pumpkin spice yarn, which I will show you later in the podcast. My Desert Sunrise and Playing with Mom's Makeup are currently sold out, but good news, I do have more bear yarn on the way to dye more of those colorways for you because I know some of you were disappointed that you couldn't pick up one or the other. So don't worry, more yarn is coming, and hint hint, there's double the amount this time. So be thinking about that coming up. I don't know when it'll arrive. As a budget person, I have to pay for the cheapest shipping, so it's usually a 10-day turnaround for shipment. So hopefully by the beginning of July we'll have some more bare yarn or dyed yarn in the shop available for you. For those of you who have purchased, please consider leaving an honest review on my shop. That actually really helps me in terms of the Etsy community and my ads being seen when people are searching for things. So if you've bought something from me, please at least consider giving an honest review. I don't mind, like, the whole point is for you to be honest. I don't, like, if you absolutely hated it, then at least let me know that. You know, I can't please everybody, but, you know, I do want you to be honest. So, and also for those of you who have purchased, which I know it's only a few of you, what do you think of the price point, and what do you think of kind of the artistry? Is there anything you think I could improve on, or, you know, is the price still a little too steep? Again, I am trying to kind of keep my budget audience in mind. So if it's still a little high for you, let me know. But again, a reminder, I do plan to do more giveaways of my hand-dyed yarn as things kind of get rolling. So don't worry, I realize that, you know, especially when I started out, I could afford $5 of yarn at a time. I get it, I understand. Unfortunately, I can't sell it that cheap because that's actually less than what it costs to buy the bare yarn. So, you know, I at least have to break even. But just let me know your thoughts on from those of you who have purchased, or from those of you who haven't purchased. Why? You know, what reasons might you have for not doing so? And don't worry, it's okay. This is really mostly just research for me. I kind of want to know what I can do to be better. So yeah, Etsy shop, that link will be in the video description box below, along with all of my other social medias. What else? Oh, Ravelry threads. I want to remind you of the charity along that we have going on. Any project you make that you plan to donate, whether it be knitting, crocheting, sewing, weaving, spinning, whatever you're doing, as all you have to do is you have to post a picture of the finished object and tell me organization or whoever you're donating it to. Let me know that. I think there was a third criteria, but I kind of forget off the top of my head. But it is in the top of that thread. I know several people have done some stuff for the VA and for Project Linus. So that's awesome. Keep those projects coming. Those blankets, by the way, are gorgeous. I love them. I believe I'm probably going to do a blanket as my charity along. I was kind of debating on what to do because I have so many ideas, but I definitely am also trying to think about using up my stash, so I think a blanket is probably going to be the best way to go. Probably a granny stripe blanket is what I'm going to do. Okay, so we're going to format the podcast a little bit differently. I realize that not everybody comes here to hear me rant about my personal life, and for those of you who don't mind listening to that and who are very supportive, thank you so much. Your kind words really do get me through some of the fears that I have after uploading a podcast. But for those of you who are just here for the knitting, I am going to move the kind of what I'm up to and everything to the end of the podcast, so if you want to hang around and listen to that, you can. If not, you are more than welcome to peel away after the knitting is over. So with that, I did want to bring up one little thing real quick. So my birthday is June 29th. So today's June 15th. My birthday is June 29th. It's a Friday. You know, I'm here in Vegas. All of my family is back in Kentucky. I only have a couple of real close friends here. Somebody suggested this to me, and I've been debating about whether or not I was going to do it, but I think I'm going to put it out there. It may completely just get a lot of criticism, but I'm going to do it anyway. I am going to share with you guys a link to an Amazon wish list. Now, before any of you start thinking, oh my god, this guy's begging for gifts, no, I'm absolutely not. In fact, if it doesn't even cross your mind to buy somebody you've only seen on the internet a gift, then absolutely don't even consider it. Don't even let it bother you, just let it pass right over. But somebody let me know that, you know, there's some people in the world who just really like to be generous, but they don't like to ask people what they want or what they can do. And sometimes the best thing you can do is just post a wish list and let them kind of do their thing. That is kind of an awkward thing for me to think about because to me that feels like I'm begging. But somebody said sometimes people just want to be nice. And if you can give them the opportunity to do so without making a big deal about it, then you should. So here's the deal. I'm going to post a link to an Amazon wish list in the video description box below. If you feel so inclined, if you're just one of those people, then you are more than welcome to purchase something. I'm not going to put like crazy expensive items in there. It's going to be smaller stuff that I've kind of been like, yeah, that would be kind of cool. Probably a lot of knitting supplies, to be honest. So I'm gonna post that. If you don't feel like that's a thing you want to participate with, don't. It's fine. I'm not asking. I'm just doing what someone suggested, because right now I feel really awkward even talking about it. But it's there. The other thing is I'm gonna post my mailing address if all you want to do is like send a card. That's available. It's one of those things where I feel awkward asking, but somebody said sometimes people want to give and they don't know how and they don't want to ask either. So it's just kind of one of those things where I'm going to cover some bases, some ground here. If it's something you want to do, I will thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you don't, absolutely no hard feelings. I don't even expect a single one of you to do it. It's just something I'm gonna put out there. Anyway, let's move on. Let's go to the knitting because I feel so awkward right now. Oh my god. Okay. Let's go to the works in progress. I have a couple of things to show you, and some of them are new. And then we've got some finished objects because I got a few of those to show you as well. So let's start with so you guys saw that I'm making like a lot of crochet bags. Just trying to use up kind of my stash of worsted or other stuff. And I realized that I had like a lot of scraps of worsted weight that weren't really big enough to do anything else. You know, stuff like this or, well, I guess I've used like this. So I decided to make another bag and this one's just a scrappy bag. And I think I ended up with some DK in here, because this is not the same size, but it'll still look good, it'll stretch out. It's just because it's single crochet and I've been crocheting kind of tight. But yeah, I'm making this scrappy bag with lots of different worsted and light worsted weight yarns that I had laying around in scraps. And this is going to be really fun. I'm going to make it kind of tall. I probably won't use all of the scraps I have, but I'm going to use this bag to collect scraps as I continue to knit, and I'll just use it to make bags as I you know, continue to go about my knitting, my fiber arts life. I'm just going to do that every now and then. I don't really have anything much to say about it. Oh, I am using I'm using an 8mm hook, and it is worsted weight held double. My glasses are falling off. It is worsted weight held double, and it is 18, 30. I think it's 60 stitches all the way around. There's a pattern by Jada and Stitches, which I think I talked about before, where she makes a scrappy market bag, but it has shoulder straps. I'm using the same bag pattern, but I'm not doing the straps. I'm adding the smaller handles. I think they're sturdier, to be honest. But the Jada and Stitches tutorial is great. I'll link that below too, because I love everything that Jada and Stitches does. She's so much fun. I really encourage you, if you're not a crocheter, to check out her tutorials, because she kind of goes through everything step by step. It's beautiful. You should check it out. So that's kind of the easiest thing I've got going. The second thing is, again, we're going to visit my flax sweater, but we've got a pretty big update. So last time I think I had either just posted an update or I was getting ready to post an update, something along those lines. But anyway, looky, 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 I finished the sleeve! Yay! Ah, this was so exciting when I got this one sleeve done. And it's so pretty, and it matches my sweater, but that was the end of the ball. So now I'm doing the other sleeve, and it's just gonna be blues and grays. So I'm gonna have a sleeve that doesn't match. Oops. So there's that. But no, I'm so excited about this, and I have tried it on. It's perfect. Again, for the cuff, I did about 1.5 inches, I believe, of twisted ribbing. I hope you can see that, because it is gorgeous on here. I'm gonna post a picture on my Instagram. I keep forgetting. But that twisted rib, oh, especially in comparison with that garter panel, or in contrast, oh, so pretty. I am so excited to get the second sleeve done, because that means we will be weaving in our ends. I'll be filming the last video, and then you'll have 2 months to finish your sweaters and post them in the finished flax knit-along thread to be entered in for prizes, which is a skein of my hand-dyed yarn and a stitch marker from Polly Knits. By the way, Polly Knits is Paul Cessna. He's an amazing person, and he has his own podcast, and I know I've talked about him before, and it's because he's such a sweet guy. And you know, I was on his Ravelry group the other day, and I noticed that, you know, there are so many people, there are several people in his group on Ravelry, but then none of them want to participate in his knit-alongs, and I feel really bad about that, because, you know, he's just trying to do what we're all doing, and in his own way, he has his own way of doing things, and I think we should all be welcoming of that. So every time he does some kind of knit-along, I try to participate, just because I think he deserves that. I think, you know, he's putting himself out there in a way that a lot of us might not be comfortable doing. I have things falling over, hold on. He's putting himself out there in a way that, you know, for all of the podcasters that we have, there's hundreds of knitters who don't podcast. And I think it's not the nicest thing if you're not going to support somebody who's putting themselves out there. And so I encourage you, I'm going to link his channel in the video description box below. Just check him out, be mindful of the fact that, you know, not everybody does things the same way. And some of us aren't as comfortable in front of a camera as other people, and especially if you haven't been doing it for nearly as long. for me, I can't do it when other people are home. I cannot talk to this camera when other people are home because it makes me self-conscious. I have to be home alone in order to make this happen. So just be aware, be kind, and participate in the knit-alongs. He's doing a cotton or plant fiber knit-along, anything knit out of cotton or other plant fibers, and I think he had a summer along at one point, which he bought a beautiful Geonitrix pattern, which is Josh Ricks Rabinski. He got me the Marl Melt shawl, and I'm actually really excited about that because it's all fingering weight, and as you can tell, I need to get a lot of that used up. So I'm really excited about that. So go check him out, at least subscribe, give him a little bit of support. I know that it would mean the world to him. And I know he watches this, so hi Paul. What else? Oh, right, so flax sweater, the finished thread, remember, prizes are hand-dyed skein of yarn and a stitch marker from Paul. He does have an Etsy shop as well. I should link that if I remember. I'll try to remember to link his Etsy shop. If not, you should be able to find it on his profile on Ravelry. I think he's Polly81 on Ravelry. So you should be able to find his Etsy shop through there. But he has some really beautiful stitch markers. You should check those out too. What next? And this is where I'm going to mention the thing that I have. So, I don't knit a lot of hats, and that's because I don't need them, but I figured I should, because they're quick, and because they show off yarn, and the two projects that I like for showing off yarn are hats and socks. So, I have started a hat, and I have done maybe 3 rows of stockinette after the ribbing, which is at 2 inches. It's 2x2 rib. This is 108 stitches. This is sport weight yarn. It is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. This is my hand-dyed. This is pumpkin spice. And 108 stitches, started on US 5s on a 16-inch circular, and I've moved to a US 6 on a 16-inch circular. These are actually my Mihausa needles, my 16-inch Mihausa stainless steels that I did a review on at one point. I actually really like these. The cord is so fantastic that I think I'm going to buy the 32-inch set because they're fixed and the cord doesn't have a memory, and they're not incredibly sharp, but I don't like incredibly sharp needles. So I think I'm going to buy the 32-inch set of these soon. But yeah, so I'm knitting on my 16-inch circulars and 2x2 rib, and I'm just going to make kind of a simple beanie. And I think what I'm going to do, instead of doing like a whole lot of decreases at the top when I get to that point, I'm going to do that thing where you like weave the end in and then pull it together to scrunch it, and then I'm going to add a pom-pom in maybe like black, like a black pom-pom, because this is definitely a fall colorway. And I think that would look really cute. I actually realized that my favorite hat growing up had a pom-pom on it, and then I bought one at a thrift store in college, and it had a pom-pom on it. And I loved that because I would walk down the street and I'd bounce and do this with the pom-pom. And it was so much fun. And now I really wish I had a hat with a pom-pom because I kind of want to do that again. So I'm going to make myself a hat with a pom-pom. Anyway, so back to the yarn. This is pumpkin spice yarn. This is my hand-dyed colorway. It is on my Etsy shop. I have 8 skeins currently available. And it is $12.95 for a skein. I believe it's like 267 yards or something like that. It is a sport weight, but I kind of consider it maybe like almost DK. Like it's almost DK. But it would be great for like maybe a thicker pair of socks. But it's going to be a great hat for me. So I'm really excited to get that done so that I can show you guys. The other reason I'm doing that is because I kind of realized like I've dyed a lot of yarn, but I haven't knit with a lot of it. So the idea here is to knit with some of my yarn, because even I don't know what it looks like sometimes. And I think maybe that's some of the problem with people not wanting to buy it, is they don't know what it looks like knit up, because I haven't knit any of it. Which is why I'm really hoping those of you who have purchased it will show me kind of how it looks when it knits up, because I want to know. And then I might then just kind of splurge and buy myself like a couple extra skeins so I can dye some for myself and knit it. But anyway, this is just a simple stockinette beanie. I don't really like to do a whole lot with hats, at least right now, because I don't knit too many of them. But there is a hat pattern I want to knit, and it's Jody of the Grocery Girl, she has her hat pattern, the JoJo's hat, I think is what it's called. And it's got this like beautiful, I think it's a slip stitch design, and it kind of spirals around the hat, and I really, really like that. I think that would look great in some of my hand dyed. So I'm gonna look to maybe get that around the colder months, because right now it is sweltering. Even with the AC on, I'm like melting in this room. That's why my glasses are falling off my face. My face is just like, oh my goodness. Okay, so moving on from the hat. Oh, so I want to show you. Okay, so remember last podcast when I asked you which yarn I should knit up a pair of socks on? Well, I gave you 2 choices to choose from, and then literally before I edited the video, I was trying to wind up the one that wasn't... I was trying to wind up the one that was kind of a mess. It would not work, and then it got so tangled that I just gave up and I threw it away, because it literally kept flying off the ball winder. I would wind, and then it would just whoop. I'm like, what the... Okay. So I'd pick it up and try to do it again, and I'd go slower, and just, nope, just kept sliding off the thing until it got so tangled that I couldn't work with it, and I got fed up. So I chose the Carlton yarn, and I'm really glad I did, because oh my god, look at this! Oh my goodness! This is like the cutest thing on the planet! I am so excited about these. It's my German short row heel that I really love. It's 64 stitches, knit on a 9-inch circular US 2s, except that for the toe, I cast on over 2 circulars, and I do knit front back increases from 12 stitches to 32 on either needle, and then I switch to the 9-inch circular. I'm loving toe up. I'm loving the 2 circulars for the toe. It goes so quick. It's so simple. It's so much easier than Magic Loop, which was just making me want to cry. I figured out how to do my German short row heel without getting too many holes. I figured out how to finally pull tight enough so that it wouldn't leave any holes. And now the only thing about these is that I love a tight sock, but these are too tight. And it has nothing to do with me knitting too tight, because the gauge hasn't changed for any pair of socks I've knit. It just doesn't, it's too tight. And so I tried them on my coworker Courtney, and they fit her perfectly, so she's going to get these. And the next pair of socks I knit are going to be 72 stitches, just because I need room. Like, I like it snug, but I need room to breathe. And this just wasn't doing that. This is two inches of... No, I think I just knit until I reached the color to bind off with, because I wanted the whole bind off to be red. So I did that, and then I did that yarn over bind off, which gives it a good stretch. It fits all the way up her calf without choking her, so she's thrilled with it. I'm thrilled with it. So that's one. Oh, and I'm putting it in this Pride bag. I love this Pride bag. But inside that, I've got my little unicorn bag. Knitting unicorn. So I've gotten this far on the second one. So, you know, we're making good progress. We're working on it. Should have those done soon. But I've got a couple of requests for projects, so I've been kind of focused on that at the moment. But yeah, that's Carlton yarn. I think I have the ball band. Yeah. Carlton sock weight yarn. It's 75/25 superwash and nylon, 100 grams. Really nice yarn, really recommend it. If you come across it, I love the way it knits up. It's a beautiful Fair Isle type of thing, so definitely recommend that. Where did the finished one just go? Did I put them both in here? I did. Okay, that's fine. We'll do it that. We'll do it that way. The heat is getting to me. Okay. I have one more work in progress to show you, and this is actually really exciting. So Knitters Party Podcast, Megan, she is living in Egypt, and she designed this beautiful shawl called the Veni Vidi Vici shawl. Oh, by the way, Megan, I watched a couple of videos on them trying to linguistically determine what Latin actually sounded like to them when they were speaking Latin. And apparently, linguistically, going back and kind of tracing language and where it came from and how things got changed and blah, 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 the actual pronunciation of that is Weddy Weedy Wiki. Weddy Weedy Wiki. Yeah. Not Veni Vidi Vici, it's Wenny Weedy Wiki. I don't know. Apparently the V's are W's and the C is a K. I watched like 4 videos on that. I still don't understand how we got Veni Vidi Vici from Weni Weedy Wiki, or vice versa. So, I'm not a linguistics person, but 4 videos told me that was the case. I didn't do my research. I don't even know how to begin doing my research, but they sounded like they knew what they were talking about. That could also just be the internet. So, if you know better, please correct me, but 4 videos told me it was a Weni Weedy Wiki. So, that doesn't sound nearly as beautiful. Anyway, Megan wrote a pattern, and it's called Veni Vidi Vici. And it's a beautiful V-shaped shawl pattern. She's living in Egypt, so it's very warm. She wants a shawl that has that nice triangle wrap, but she doesn't want all of that fabric bunched up around her neck because it's, you know, it's too hot for that. So she designed this beautiful V-shaped shawl, and I am one of the test knitters, and I'm going to show you what I've got knitting-wise. Oh my gosh, where's the pattern? I've lost the pattern. Anyway, well, I guess I can't show you the pattern because I don't have it. It is probably in the kitchen where I was knitting yesterday. Anyway, here's what I have going so far. It is going to be this beautiful V-shaped shawl. It increases 4 stitches on either side on every right side row. And Megan said that the cast-on edge is a little tight, but Megan, it stretches. I wanted to show you that it does indeed stretch. It just doesn't look like it does, but it stretches. So I hope I'm staying loose enough for your taste, but it does stretch. And if I pull it and kind of let it sit, it'll stay pretty open. So I hope that's loose enough. If not, I'll do something to try and stay looser, Megan. But anyway, she did give me permission to show this, so thank you to her for that. I love this knit. We had a couple of road bumps at the beginning but that's why she has test knitters, is, you know, a couple of things were just written wrong or left out, and, you know, we all were like, hey, is this supposed to do this? And she's like, oh, no, here's an updated pattern. After the second update, we kind of all figured out, yeah, we're all gonna have to start over, but that's okay, because I'm actually really glad I did, because I wasn't getting the shape that I thought I was supposed to be getting, and so when I went back and started doing everything, I was really happy that I had decided to frog it out. Luckily, I actually had gotten not even this far the first time, so frogging it wasn't a big deal. Anyway, so I'm knitting on this fingering weight yarn that I have that was at the bottom of my stash. It's a really fuzzy, like, if you can see the halo on that, I don't know if you can. It is so fuzzy. But this, I wound this up super light and not very tight, wound it up loosely. This is solid. This is a solid cake. Like, it is holding its shape. I mean, this could be a pillow. It's so solid. And so I think there's enough here for 2 of these shawls. That's how much yarn this is. It's super light, super thin. It's actually really nice to work with, and it's creating a beautiful, beautiful fabric. I love the halo. I love the softness. I love the, oddly enough, for garter stitch, I love the stitch definition in this. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm really excited about this, and I hope I'm actually ready for the first eyelet row. There's going to be an eyelet row in here. So that's at the point I'm at. And I'm really excited about this test knit. We've got a month to do it, and I think I'm going to beat that no problem. To me, it looks like everything on the pattern is correct now, so it should be smooth sailing from here. I'm really excited to finish this because I know that she's excited to kind of see how it works for everybody else. So we've got that going. I'm knitting it on US 7s. Her pattern calls for US 6s, but I'm a tight knitter and I wanted to be a little bit more true to gauge. So I did go up to US 7s. Everything seems to be working great on that. It's she recommends a 32-inch cable. I think all of my 32-inch cables were being used, so I think I'm on a 24-inch. But that's not going to be a big deal for me. If I need a longer one, I'll just buy another cord. But that's really fun. I'm really enjoying that, and I hope to show you more here very soon in the future. And that pattern will be available as soon as everybody's test knit it and everybody's good with how it knit up and where you see that there's no more mistakes. Then she'll release that on Ravelry, and I hope that you guys will pick it up and knit it as well. Alright, I think that is everything for Works in Progress. I have finished objects for you, and not only do I have just 1 finished object, I have 3 finished objects, which is a big deal for me. I don't normally finish objects that quickly. So the first thing I want to show you is the socks I knit for my sister. I'd been working on these for a little bit, but I finally kind of got my butt in gear and finished them. I think they're great. This is where I did, you know, the yarn over bind off. This is Croy Payton's FX. It's kind of elasticy. And I think what makes these socks interesting is that even with the tight gauge, they're loose because they're so elastic and the yarn doesn't really stick to itself. So they're also rough. Even with having been blocked, they're still kind of rough to wear. But my sister's kind of like, they're work socks, so I know they're going to be durable. So these were, again, my socks are knit on US 2s, always. These were toe up again with a German short row heel, and of course knit to the top with about 1.5 inches of ribbing and a yarn over bind off. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Again, that's Croy Payton's, or Payton's Croy FX, and that's the letter F and the letter X. So I think these are great. I don't know what the colorway is. These didn't come with a ball band. So, but no, my sister, I think she's going to love these. I waited to send them to her until I was able to show them to you guys, but I don't think she's like sitting anywhere waiting for them. So, these I'll send to her very, very soon. I know she's going to love them, and hopefully she never asks me to knit her another pair of socks. Because I like knitting socks for me. I don't want to... the only time I really like giving them away is when they don't fit me, but those fit me, and so I don't want to give them away. But I don't like the yarn, so she's gonna get that. Oh, next thing. I'd been working on this for a while, and it sat on the back burner for a really long time, and this needs to be blocked again because it won't stop curling, and I've blocked it twice. This, of course, is my Soroyan, and I'm gonna keep it folded. Well, you know what, I guess I'm not. Anyway, so it's my Soroyan, and it's this beautiful little short wrap. It's not a, you know, it's not a huge wrap. It's kind of short, kind of light. I knit mine on DK. The pattern actually calls for worsted, but I didn't have any worsted I wanted to use at the time. So this is on Lion Brand Mandala yarn. Don't remember the colorway. Threw the ball band away a long time ago. I love this leaf pattern on the side, and it increases, then it's flat for a bit, and then it decreases. So the end of this actually went really quickly because every pattern repeat, the rows were getting shorter and shorter. So by the time I was done, it was so nice. The only complaint I have about this pattern is that for some reason, in the increases and decreases, only some of the rows have increases and some of the rows have decreases, and I didn't like that because it didn't create a uniform edge. So about halfway through my increases, I decided to increase every row because I thought it looked better. But that put my stitch count off for the decreases, so I got down to the second to last pattern repeat and realized that I didn't have enough stitches to do the last one, so I kind of had to improvise. Instead of just continuing to decrease, I did a make one, knit two together, so I could continue to have this, it's so hard to show. There's an edge here where the knit two was making, and I wanted to continue to have that even as I ran out of stitches down here, so I would do a make one and then knit two together so that I could continue that line, even though I didn't have any stitches left. So that was a little interesting. If I do it again, I'll make sure that I increase every row so that I can decrease every row and end up where I'm supposed to. And I think I will knit this again. But I think I'm going to do it on maybe a worsted weight because I think I wanted it to be a little thicker, but I wanted it to knit faster. So, kind of, you know, it's a hit or miss pattern. I enjoy it. I think it looks nice. I don't think it's something I would wear all the time. The other thing I thought about doing is maybe knitting it on a worsted weight, and instead of doing an increase section and then a non-increase or decrease section and then a decrease section, I would increase, 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 and then turn around and immediately start decreasing so I get like a nice triangle shape out of it. But I would add like maybe yarn over increases instead of make ones. I don't know, I thought about ways that I could modify it to make it a little more interesting to knit, because it was kind of boring. But I'm glad it's done. It had been on the needles for way too long, so I did finally finish that as well. And I finished one other project. My Boneyard shawl. This I was so proud of. I thought I was going to end up making it a lot bigger than it is, and I realized that I really didn't want to. I liked the smaller size, and also this cotton, I was knitting it on one needle size bigger, so it was gonna stretch. It was gonna, you know, it was gonna open up, and when I blocked it, it actually did. I think when I was done knitting it, it was maybe only this wide, and then it got that much bigger when I blocked it. But I love it. This is knit with Cuddly Cotton. Let's see if I can grab one of those. Cuddly Cotton, color 105. I think this is by Babe Yarns or something. But it used 2 of these skeins, actually a little bit less than 2. And I think it's gorgeous. I'm actually giving this to a friend who has, I think like maybe a kid or a preteen or somebody who really wanted a blue shawl. And as much as I love this, I didn't feel like I was going to wear it. So this little girl is going to get this beautiful gift, and I'm happy to give it to her because it's perfect for Vegas. It's cotton, it's lightweight, it's breathable, it's washable, it's everything that it needs to be for Vegas. So I'm really excited about that. That was knit on US 9s. The Boneyard shawl is a Stephen West pattern, so now I can say I've knit a Stephen West pattern. Yay! But yeah, no, it's a beautiful pattern. I did end up, I didn't do a stretchy bind off. I actually did just a regular bind off, but I just did it loosely so that it would stretch just a little. Beautifully, it worked absolutely beautifully, blocked out beautifully. I didn't even have to pin it. I could just get it wet, wring it out, and lay it flat, and it dried exactly the way I needed it to. Beautiful, beautiful project. I'm really happy that it's going to go to a home with somebody who's going to love it, and I think it's going to be great. So, in terms of my socks, because I'm about to finish those for Courtney, I'm going to do this again. I've got 2 yarns that I thought about would be great in socks, and I'm probably going to end up knitting both of them at some point, but I wanted to know which one I should do first. So, I have this one, which doesn't have a ball band. It's kind of got blue. It looks like it's going to be self-striping, kind of that Fair Isle deal again. I think it's really pretty. I love blues. I love, you know, kind of muted tones like this. I think it would be a great pair to knit up. But I also have this. This is a hand-dyed. I don't know the dyer. I don't know the colorway. I don't know the material. I know it is a natural fiber, and I know it's a sock yarn. But it's got some, like, neons and some grays and maybe some, like, blues and some yellows. It's just a really interesting kind of, like, zombie-esque yarn or color. And I think this would be a lot of fun to knit up, too. So, which one should I do? Should I do the blue, clearly self-striping, or should I do the, like, weird zombie hand-dyed? Let me know in the comments section which one I should do, and the winner, I will, as soon as I finish the other pair of socks, I will cast these on. Or these, whichever. So we're gonna put that away. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Whew, it is warm in here. It is so warm in here. Okay, so for those of you who were just here for the knitting, this is where we can part ways. I want to thank you so much for sticking through all of my projects and my knitting and my other fiber arts. For those of you who want to stick around, I will go into a little bit more about what I'm up to. So, my direct supervisor, John, his last day of work was today. We took him out to lunch, and we made cupcakes, and, you know, we just had a really good time. We're sad to see him go. He was such a glue for our team, you know. He was the one we could go to for pretty much everything. And, you know, but he's chasing his dreams. He's going to go work at Yellowstone. He really loves the outdoors. It's something he absolutely loves to do, so we couldn't be happier for him. You know, he gets about a week and a half before he starts his, starts his first day, which I think is the 24th of June. So, yeah, he's kind of sad. It was sad to see him go, but, you know, he's going to do great things. We have his contact information. We're actually already thinking about planning a trip to go up one time, and maybe see him and hang out. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But in terms of that, I had applied for his job, and my interview was Monday, and I'm nervous, and I'm excited. I think that there are a lot of interesting things coming down the road, and whether or not I get the job is not a big deal. It's one of those things where I'm not gonna get it if I don't apply. So, fingers crossed. I am competing with 2 other people on the team, and that's a big deal. But I know that whoever gets it is going to, you know, everybody else is going to be happy for them. It's, you know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's just, I'm a little biased. Of course I am. I mean, who isn't? But I'm a little biased. I do know a little bit more about what John's been doing. He's been working with me very closely on his different tasks and showing me the ropes. I've been taking notes on what he does and how to do it, and I've been asking a lot of questions. And I'm really hoping that that plays really well in the eyes of our next supervisor, Justin, who's technically over our team anyway. He's just over more of the marketing department. We're just a small part of it. So, you know, I'm hoping in the eyes of Justin, the fact that I've worked with John very, very closely, that I've got more experience, not more experience in terms of like the role or age or anything, just more experience in terms of his specific role. And, you know, I've been doing a lot more complex things in the background. I've been building programs in Excel that'll, I actually successfully today ran a program I had built without errors that took one of, so we have this report called the MLS, and it takes, before it was taking an hour, hour and a half, even 2 hours to run this report. But the longest part of it is, you know, we're doing it for multiple markets, multiple states. I was breaking it, at the end, you have to separate those out so you can send them to all the different people, and that part of the job took 45 minutes to separate all of those sheets and save them. So I wrote a program that'll run in Excel. It's called a macro. I wrote a macro that will separate all of those markets separately, and it does it in 45 seconds. 45 seconds. It took 45 minutes down to 45 seconds. So I'm really hoping that my initiative, and I did it in 3 days. I did it in 3 days, and it's coding. It's coding. You have to put in codes and know how to read the programming, and I knew nothing about it when I started, and John kind of gave me a real quick introduction into how it worked, and then he's like, here's what we need to do, here's some of the things you might need to change, here's some things you need to think about, here's a great resource you can go to on the internet, and in 3 days I had it built, and 2 days later we ran it successfully and had it sent to the people it needed to be sent to, and we cut the process down by 45 minutes. I am so proud of that. Even if I don't get the supervisor position, I am so proud of what I've done with that, because that's something I never thought I'd ever learn, something I never thought I'd ever do. And I'm just so proud of the work that was done in working with me, and because I had so many questions, and just I'm so thrilled that they were able to keep up with me. I'm happy that I was able to keep up with them, and that we were able to make this a success. And not only that, but we were able to finish it before John left, so John could see the success as well. And I'm hoping that, you know, he feels like he's left some good skills behind. But beyond that, I know how to run a lot of the reports. I pick up things very quickly. I also really kind of just want to stay on the team. I don't really have any aspirations to move beyond kind of where I am, because I'm comfortable. I don't really, more money would be great. Absolutely, more money would be great. But I find that it doesn't bring me happiness. It just brings me the ability to go do other things that makes me happy. And what I mean by that is it just makes me comfortable. I don't feel like I'm struggling, and that's a good thing. And so for me, it's more about a work-life balance, and that team gives me that work-life balance. And I honestly, you know, the 2 other people that are applying, they want to move on. They want to go into property management. They want to do all of these big things, and that's great. And I think that the supervisor position would be great for them, you know, in terms of stepping up, but I also think that being out in the field is going to be more beneficial to them. I don't know. Of course I'm biased because, you know, I want the position, but, you know, I think there are just so many really cool things about what I've learned and the initiative that I took. I'm not even kidding. 10 minutes after John told us he was leaving, I was like, so what do you do beyond what we know that you do? Like, what else do you do? What are your daily tasks? How do you do this? How do you do this? You know, and kind of framing it as like that even if I don't get picked for your job, we need somebody who knows how to run this until they get somebody hired. And if they hire somebody who's not on the team, then obviously they're going to have to be trained. They're not going to step in and know how to run these complicated reports on day one. So somebody's got to know how to do this. And so I'm hoping that the fact that I took that initiative is also going to be a good thing. It's a very selfish thing to think of right now, but I mean, in terms of a job interview, you have to think selfishly, like, how do I present myself in the best way possible so that they're going to pick me? So there's that. In other news, last podcast I shared the whole thing with the flute choir board meeting. And today I found out that, like, the 4 best players and our music director have all quit. So we have no music director, we have no board secretary, and 2 of our best soloists and 2 of our best supporting players have all quit. And I don't know what to do. I like the group. It's kind of my only place to go because I'm not really a professional other than my church gig, but I don't really count that. I don't really have anywhere else to go, and it was kind of the thing that was really fun to do in the fall and the spring, and I'm a little upset that the board meeting led to the resignation of a lot of people, and I'm actually really sad about it. I didn't think I would be, but it feels like a loss that I wasn't expecting, and I don't really know what to do. I don't know whether to stick with it, because I feel like that's a responsibility I'd have to put in so much more time, because now we're in a rebuilding phase, and I don't know if I have the time to dedicate to doing something like that, but I feel like if I don't step up, then nobody else will either. And I don't know what to do right now. I don't know what to do in terms of the flute choir. I guess I'm just gonna ride it out and see what happens, but I honestly right now I feel like we probably won't continue. I think we've had our last year, and that hurts. That hurts because I think too many people were thinking selfishly about what they wanted instead of what was best for the group, and it just kind of destroyed us, and now I don't know where to go from there. So it kind of sucks, and yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. It kind of sucks. Beyond that, so I'm recording this on Friday, so tomorrow's Saturday. Tomorrow that contractor is supposed to come back to my house to fix the job that he didn't do the right way the first time. I was supposed to get a text from the realty company or a call or something confirming that he'd be here tomorrow, and I haven't gotten it. And honestly, if I don't have anybody contacting me before 10, then I'm gonna text her and be like, I'm sorry, you didn't confirm with me, and I've had to make other arrangements, and we're gonna have to do this another time. Which I don't want to do because my landlord's expecting it to be done tomorrow. But I can't keep putting off stuff for this guy and this realty company who's clearly not trying to do this correctly. And it's one of those things where, like, just if you would do the job, we wouldn't have the problem. If you would just get him here, get it done, and get it done right so that my landlord is happy with the job, you won't have to be bugged with us anymore. I don't know why you keep trying to put this off, because my landlord will go to the HOA and have you fined for not doing this. Because we have a rule that says if your unit damages another unit, you're responsible for it. So the HOA will fine you. So do it or pay. One of the two. Do it or pay. Because this is ridiculous. You're not communicating. And you're eating into my time, because I have to work tomorrow too. I have to be at work at 6 so I can be done by 11, because he's supposed to be here at 11:15. And if I don't have confirmation, then I'm going to expect he's not coming. But of course, I'm going to clean up everything out of my living room and kitchen, because I'm going to be expecting him to come. The thing that's annoying about that is now I have to find a place for everything, because I can't trust him, even though the realty company is like defending him 100%. And the sheriff's department doesn't want to file a claim for something I can't prove, and they've never had complaints against him before, and now I'm starting to doubt whether or not I lost it or he stole it, and it's one of those things where I'm gonna get a couple of bonuses, like some money is coming to me from different places, and honestly I just kind of want to pay it off and just buy a new one, because it's not mine, it's Lee's, it's my husband's, and so, you know, that's really upsetting to me, and, you know, it's not his fault, and it's not mine either. But, you know, it's one of those things where if it comes down to it, I'll just pay it and get another one. I don't have a problem doing that as long as it's not gonna, you know, eat into my normal budget. So, it sucks, but it's something that might have to be done, because they don't insure them. And it's really annoying that they don't insure them. So it's kind of like you're on the hook. If it gets lost or stolen, you're on the hook. So, not fun, but if worse comes to worse, that's what'll happen. But yeah, I can't really trust the contractor. Part of me really wants, because I've got all of my Apple boxes, because I keep all of them for whatever reason. I really kind of want to like weigh one of the phone boxes down and kind of just leave it somewhere and see if he takes it. And if he does, I want to put a note in it that says, I know you took the watch. So, we'll see what happens. Anyway, one last thing. I want to get back to the budget part of this channel. I feel like I've gotten kind of distracted by the shiny new things that are coming out in the, you know, the knitting world and all of the things that I run across, and I think I've kind of lost sight of what I originally set out to do, which is to kind of stick to the budget thing, the budget yarns, the budget tools, the budget tips. And so I'm going to start thinking about ways so I can get back to that, because honestly, that's the reason that you guys watch this, I think. At least that's what's been expressed to me, is that's kind of the reason that everybody's been watching this. So, yeah, I'm going to try to get back to the budget part of this and think about ways that I can do that for you guys. And that's going to take a lot of interesting thinking and ways to kind of bring things back. Not that I don't think that it's not okay to have nice things. I mean, one thing about being on a budget is that it's not necessary, you're not necessarily cheap, you're just smart with your money. So I think that's, you know, it's not that you can't have nice things, it's that I think I want to try to get back to the part where, you know, if you've only got a few bucks to spend, what can you do? So, I'm gonna think about doing that and see what I can do in terms of bringing it back to the budget thing. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to Nora from, I met her at Sin City Knit Shop last night. She met me, and she'd been watching the podcast for a little bit. She'd been introduced by my friend Angel, and, you know, she was really happy. She gave me so many kind words, and she just really reminded me about why I do this. And it was just so nice to hear somebody say, I love your podcast because you offer something different, and because you have a different way of doing things, that you have a different way of thinking. And honestly, I had kind of forgotten why I was doing this for a little bit, and it's just nice to be reminded, and it made me feel really, really good, and it inspired me to continue doing this, because there are those of you who this is what you need, and if I'm the person that provides that fulfillment in terms of your entertainment, then I'm happy to do it. And thank you, Nora, so much for reminding me about why I do this, because I had forgotten. And I hope that I'm providing what you guys want. Anyway, I know we got away from the knitting for a while, but for those of you who did stick around, thank you so much for listening. I know about halfway through we probably lost about half of the viewers because we were done with the knitting. But for those of you who stuck around, thank you. I really appreciate it. There are some videos coming up. There's a knit crate unboxing. There's gonna be, I actually do need to do a needle review. I've been promising this for several months and I haven't done it yet, but I finally kind of got to the bottom of all of my works in progress and realized that I still had that on the needles. So I'm gonna do a needle review really soon, and I do plan to do one of those $25 yarn hauls from one of the big box stores. So you can expect that coming up pretty soon, within the next month or so. And for those of you, again, I'm just gonna mention it, if you're interested, the wish list is in the video description box below. Do not feel obligated. Do not feel like you have to do anything at all. It is just there if you feel so inclined. I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to beg. But, oh, and for those of you who are wondering, I'm going to be 27 this year. So, I don't know why, but some people find that to be really important information. So I will be 27 this year. So thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go. I have a lot of cleaning to do. So I will see you all again very soon here on the Budget Knitter Podcast channel. Thanks.